away from the censorship economy. I don't want this to all, I don't want to say we'll get bogged down in the Twitter files. There was just a release yesterday that came out on Friday from Matt Taibbi that is as devastating as the prior 5 releases. This one shows extensive, not just kind of acute, but chronic, longitudinal, extensive coordination over time between the FBI, which last time I checked, fellas and ladies, was a branch of the government. Anyone in the control room? Will, Sabrina, you're going to correct me? Okay, they're saying yes. The FBI is still a branch of the government, coordinating with Twitter to, quote, take action. They want action on accounts. That whole First Amendment thing, you know, there's an app for that. That never got in the way. Folks, we'll get to Glenn Greenwald in a minute about that. But it's not just Twitter. This is a pervasive problem with the new big tech corporate government symbiote and an effort to crush people's opportunity, if you're a conservative, from operating in the economy. You think it's just Twitter? You'd be wrong. Well, what about PayPal? PayPal? The payment service? Yeah, the payment service. What the hell happened to PayPal? Was an article up and made its rounds this week. Went semi-viral. Talking about PayPal, how they could be functioning like a social credit score. Some conservatives have had some problems with PayPal, too. You can't even pay for stuff anymore, depending on your politics? Is that the future you want? Probably saying, all right, Twitter, PayPal, we'll work our way around it, no big deal. At least we can go watch a video on YouTube. Really? You thought that, too? YouTube's got a long history of censoring conservatives. Take a look for yourself. We found out yesterday that Dan Bongino, me, yours truly, banned for life from YouTube.
Their video that went viral explaining all this was removed from YouTube because of it.
How did you get blocked on YouTube? That's not easy to do. Well, apparently it is. Why were you blocked?
Well, it's easier than you think. I had my accounts all shut down about 6 months ago. I'm not going to stop opposing the government's attempt to regulate what I can say, that's for sure.
So you can't watch a video on YouTube, you can't pay for stuff, and you definitely can't microblog on Twitter either if you're a conservative. But at least it doesn't affect, like, searching stuff on Google. I'm sorry, look, it does. Newsbusters just put out a report on the Warnock-Herschel Walker Senate race in Georgia. And oh, look at this. Looks like there was some bias there, too, with Google. It always seems to work in one direction, too, doesn't it? The conservative direction? Isn't that just shocking? Here's Joe Rogan, and a former Google engineer, talking about Google's blacklist. I'm sure the liberals will call this another conspiracy theory, way back in 2017.
These people that, you know, compile these spreadsheets of names of people that are conservative, right, or even libertarian, and oh, we're not going to work with them. We're going to sabotage their work.
So that's real.
Yeah, that's real.
How do you know that that's real? Have you seen this list?
And
libertarian, not even conservative, not even right wing.
People, even like high up managers, have admitted to having a blacklist.
Wow.
And, you know, we've brought this up to the highest people at Google, and they've just completely dismissed it.
Search, websites, video, Twitter, PayPal. Well, at least you can shop for stuff and create like a store on Shopify. Shopify, too? Oh my gosh. Now, I will say for Shopify, they've taken a turn in a better direction recently. But yeah, Shopify too's got a history of this. So strange, again, how it only seems to affect conservatives. And as you heard the engineer say, libertarians too. Well, you still have an exit valve, a pressure release valve. At least conservatives and libertarians, right, can go and shop on, you know, Amazon, probably one of the world's largest online marketplaces. You can't do that either. Turns out they have a history of bias against conservatives as well. Twitter, Amazon, YouTube, Google, Shopify. When does it end? It's almost as if we're living in kind of like a third world country where political bias is integrated into the system. Because we are. All right. Well, at least you can go and raise money, right? Do the right thing, a charitable cause on GoFundMe. I mean, there's no political bias there. No way. At GoFundMe, too. Take a look at this.
truckers starting a new fundraiser after GoFundMe officially cut off funds for Canada's Freedom Convoy.
The GoFundMe move against the Canadian convoy is just the latest example of how anti-mandate protesters are drawing censorship from American corporations.
And GoFundMe shut down a fundraiser for the truckers after police told them the protest had become an occupation.
And while GoFundMe ended protest donations, millions are coming in on other platforms.
Okay, I could go on all day. Okay, it was like the Leo Getz from Lethal. Okay. We can go on all day. But let me throw out one more. At least you can go to Eventbrite and buy a ticket to an event and kind of cool down and relax. You mean Eventbrite? Of course, Eventbrite too. I mean, it's really easy to be biased and go with the wokeitarians, biased against conservatives. Matter of fact, if you're not, you'll be the subject of an online boycott brigade by a bunch of Ben & Jerry's eaters in the basement who will have actually no effect on your company if you just ignore them. But they just can't stop. Again, folks, your country's not going to save itself. Stand up. It's worth it. Joining me now.